Boyfriend got angry and broke my things when I refused to skip being a bridesmaid at my sister's wedding because I'd have to walk down the aisle with my ex. Hello, I'm in a tough situation and need an outside perspective beyond my friends and family. Using fake names and a throwaway for privacy, I'll try to keep this short. I, 26F, have been with my boyfriend, Tommy, 27M, for 11 months. He's a really caring guy and has always treated me well. Like any couple, we've had small disagreements, but nothing major until now. For context, my older sister, Kimmy, 31F, is getting married to her fiancé, Gray, 23M, in 3 months. Gray happens to be the cousin of my ex-boyfriend, Levi, 26M. Levi and I dated from freshman year of high school through college until I broke up with him 2 years ago. He had developed feelings for his now girlfriend, Tammy, 24F, whom he met in college. The breakup was mutual, and there are no hard feelings, we're on good terms. I've known Levi since I was 6, and we were best friends growing up, sharing the same friend group. Because of that, I spent a lot of time at his house, and his family became like a second family to me. Even after our breakup, his parents, 2 older sisters, and extended family continued inviting me to family events. I attended a few, but once Levi told me that Tammy felt uncomfortable with my presence, I started going less out of respect. This was before I started dating Tommy. Kimmy kept going to family events since she was with Gray. That said, I still occasionally see Levi at small parties hosted by my best friend, May, 25F. She and her boyfriend, Hunter, 26M, are still close with Levi, so he's sometimes there. We don't really interact much at these events. Tommy has met Levi at these gatherings and has even spoken with him a few times. He never mentioned having an issue with it. Now onto the problem. Kimmy and Gray's wedding is a small, intimate event with only close friends and family. I'm a bridesmaid, and Levi is a groomsman, which means we're paired up to walk down the aisle together. I was initially a bit uncomfortable with it, but I love my sister and want to support her, so I put my feelings aside. Levi's girlfriend, Tammy, is invited, and she's totally fine with everything, as the most interaction Levi and I will have is walking together for a few seconds. But Tommy is furious. He now refuses to attend the wedding and has given me an ultimatum: either I step down as a bridesmaid, attend only as a guest, or not go at all. I, of course, told him no. This is my sister's wedding, and I want to be there for her. It's not my fault her fiancé is related to Levi. Tommy lost it. He shouted at me, called me horrible names, accused me of wanting to cheat on him with Levi, then broke some of my things before storming out. He's now staying at a friend's place and refuses to see or talk to me. I've never seen him this angry before. I have never given him any reason to think I'd cheat on him, and Levi and I don't go out of our way to talk to each other. So I have no idea where this is coming from. After talking to May and my friends about it, word got back to Levi, and he actually offered to step down as a groomsman to avoid drama. I told him not to do that. My family now knows what happened because Levi told Gray, and my parents are furious. Kimmy is disgusted by how Tommy treated me. They don't want him at the wedding no more. I've tried reaching out to Tommy, but his friend texted me he doesn't want to see me. I'm honestly worried about him because this reaction is completely out of character. He's always been a great boyfriend, but this whole situation is making me question things. So, Ida? My friends and family say I'm not, but I need an outsider's perspective. Edit, thank you everyone for opening my eyes. I'm gonna ditch Tommy and pack his things. I will be contacting his friend he is staying with to fetch most of his things. Again, thank you. Edit 2, this is my last edit. A lot of people are asking why I couldn't be paired with someone else. My sister and her fiancé chose the pairings based on what felt most comfortable for everyone. Since Levi and I already know each other well and are on good terms, they thought it would be the least awkward option. It wasn't done to cause drama, just to make things easier for the bridal party. I know Levi and I have a long history together, we've been through a lot. I still care for him from a distance, but our relationship truly began to break down after we lost our son, who was stillborn. We were young, and while we stayed together for a few more years, things were never the same. Eventually, Levi developed feelings for someone else, his current girlfriend, and he was honest with me about it before pursuing her. We ended things on mutual terms because, in that moment, I realized I no longer felt the same way either. We simply fell out of love. It happens. Update, I packed up most of Tommy's things and texted his friend to come pick them up. I gave him 2 days to grab his stuff out of my home. He came the next day. When he arrived, he came inside alone while his friend waited in the car. My dad and older cousin were with me, just in case. I know some of you might not be happy about this, but Tommy and I ended up having a serious talk after he finished loading his things into the truck. My dad and cousin stayed in the living room while we spoke privately in my room. I needed closure, we both did. Tommy apologized. He said he was sorry for yelling, calling me names, and breaking my things. He also offered to pay for the damages, but I told him no. At this point, replacing my things wouldn't fix what had already been broken. He said he wanted to work things out and start over, but I immediately rejected the idea. I have little to no trust in him now, and for me, once trust is gone, the relationship is gone. I asked him why he suddenly had such a problem with Levi when he never did before, even when we attended family events and friend gatherings together. That's when he admitted something I hadn't known. He had gone through my closet. My closet is packed with a lot of personal things. He was looking for something and came across a small flowery chest where I keep special memories, photo albums, letters, and small gifts from family, friends, and past experiences. Curious, he decided to look through it. Inside, he found letters Levi had written me, gift cards from family and friends, and a few drawings Levi had made for me. Then, he found my 2 photo albums. One was filled with childhood pictures of my family, friends, and Levi, from when we were kids all the way through high school graduation and college. The second album was handmade. Levi's older sister had made it for us, and Levi had gifted it to me. It was a green polka dot album with a heart and the letter L on the cover, L for Levi. This album held some of my most personal and meaningful pictures of us as kids, in high school, and as adults. There was one photo that Tommy had found. It was a picture from when I was pregnant with Levi's and my son. We were at Levi's uncle's family cabin. Levi was holding me from behind, his arms wrapped under my belly, kissing my cheek while I had one hand on his cheek and the other on my stomach. My eyes were squinting, and I was smiling really hard. Tommy told me that image has been stuck in his head ever since. He admitted he went through my things 8 months into our relationship and never told me. He said that after seeing that photo, he felt like he could never compete with what I had with Levi. That no matter what he did, I would never love him as much. He said he never felt this way with his 2 ex-girlfriends before, but, with me, it was different. He felt like I had already given all my love to someone else. He said he noticed the little things, that when he gave me gifts, I didn't seem as excited. When he brought me flowers or a gift card, I would just say thank you, put them on the counter, and move on. Unlike Levi's gifts, which I kept in a special box, his didn't seem to hold the same meaning to me. He even found one of the cards he gave me in the kitchen trash bin. I felt absolutely terrible when he said that. I never meant to make him feel that way. I never threw away anything he gave me. Everything he gifted me was in my nightstand drawer. Sure, it wasn't in a memory box like Levi's things, but that didn't mean I didn't care. I loved to grab and read them sometimes from the nightstand. Then he said something that really hurt me. He told me that seeing me pregnant in that photo made him uncomfortable. That it felt weird and that he didn't like it. I didn't even understand what he meant, but hearing him say that truly hurt for sure. At that point, I broke down crying. He had been holding in all these feelings, all this resentment, and instead of ever talking to me about it, he let it all bottle up until it exploded over the bridesmaid situation. I wish he had told me earlier instead of letting things get to this point. Because despite everything, I did love him. I told him that, I still love him, but that he crossed a personal boundary by going through my things without my knowledge or consent. That memory box is deeply personal to me, and it hurt knowing he invaded that space. We had nothing else to talk about. He just got up and told me good luck to the next guy, he's gonna need it, especially having to deal with you. That stung. I had been nothing but grateful for him, but in the end, that is what he left me with. I cried so much. At first, I was just angry with him, but in the end, it was crushing to go through another heartbreak. My dad and cousin stayed with me that night, and I was grateful not to be alone. Right now, I'm planning on focusing on myself. I don't plan on dating for a long time because I want to heal and work on my own happiness first. One day, I'd love to be with a man who wants a big family and lots of kids with me, but that's not my focus right now. My priority is to keep enjoying my life, continue working at my job I love. I've planned on going out with my friends a lot more and spend quality time with the people who truly care about me. I've also been planning to spend more time with my family. I've been calling my friends and that has really helped me feel supported. I also talked to Levi, and he actually came over by surprise to check on me. He brought me chocolate-covered strawberries, my favorite, and his girlfriend even crocheted me a little tokay gecko, that looks like my pet gecko. My favorite animal. It was such a sweet gesture that I actually cried. We ended up talking for hours, playing my old GameCube, especially Mario Kart Double Dash and Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Digimon World 4, just reconnecting, like when we were kids. There were definitely some tears, but also hugs, and we promised to be there for each other more. That made me really happy. No, nothing happened between us. Levi actually plans to propose to Tammy in the near future. He seems so much happier with her than he ever was with me during our relationship. I've never seen him blossom with anyone the way he has with her. He's also way more affectionate with her than he ever was with me. I truly hope they get married and build a beautiful life and family together. They both deserve it. And good news is, my best friend May and I are also planning a fun trip out of state in early June, probably to Idaho for a week. As we live in Maine. And we are planning a bigger friend group trip. We're still figuring out when and where, since some of our friends live out of state, and we need to find a good schedule. I am planning on moving out of my apartment soon, most likely after my lease is done. I am gonna be talking to Levi's uncle and moving into one of small properties with 2 of our close friends for a fresh start. So, for the first time in a while, I feel like I have something to look forward to. I'm excited to focus on myself, enjoy my sister and Bill's wedding, and just live my life. Thank you all again. Wishing you all a wonderful and lovely day. Edit, I'm not in love with Levi, despite what some people are saying. Just because I cherish a few things from the past doesn't mean I still have romantic feelings for him. In fact, I still have love for Tommy. It takes me a long time to fully lose feelings for someone, even if they've hurt me. I also really like Levi's girlfriend, she's incredibly kind. And to those claiming I'll hook up with Levi, please reevaluate yourselves. I don't chase after people in relationships, especially someone I no longer have feelings for. I'm not the type of person who sleeps around. I value emotional connection and building a meaningful bond before ever taking that step with someone. I have better standards than that. Next story, ex-husband who cheated on me refused to let our 8-year-old daughter attend my wedding as a flower girl, then violently shook her when she cried about missing it. My husband, 37M, and I, 37F, have been divorced for 6 years now. We have 2 daughters, Emily, 16F, and Gabby, 8F, and was happily married for 10 years. My husband cheated on me with a freshman in college and left me for her. It was hard for me. I was in so much emotional pain. It wasn't just his cheating but also how he said he hates me and that I looked ugly. He even said something on the line like I was not as tight as I used to be. You can imagine my pain. It gave me some serious trust issues. I couldn't forget what he said to me during our divorce. Emily knew why we divorced and she held some resentment towards her father for that. Gabby was too young at that time. Nonetheless, he was a husband but a good father to both of them. We shared custody. The girls would be with me from Friday to Monday. I tried my best but from time to time I would spiral. I have been in and out of therapy since my divorce. I met my now husband Ben, 41M, 4 years ago. We met because we worked in the same building and I was crying on the roof of the office building. Ben was there too when he saw me. He asked me what happened and I just bawled my eyes out because that day was my wedding anniversary and that was the same day my ex decided that he would get married to his AP. Ben listened to my concerns and stayed with me the whole day to make sure I was fine. He even dropped me to my house because I was too emotionally unstable to drive myself. From there we started dating. He told me his story about how he lost his wife and only daughter 10 years ago in a car accident. He was really fond of my daughters as well. Emily has started to call him Dad after a year of us dating. Gabby also calls him Daddy Ben. I was finally healing and getting back to my old self. Ben was really nice and caring. We welcomed our son a year ago. My girls are happy to have a brother. He proposed to me when I was pregnant and we had been planning for our wedding since then. Now, here is the issue. Emily is one of my bridesmaid. Gabby is my flower girl. Emily is old enough to choose which parent she wants to live with. So there was no issue from her part. But Gabby was still going back and forth from my house to my ex's house. My wedding is in 2 weeks. My ex was fine with it. I spoke to him many times to make sure that he drives Gabby to my mother's place but now he refuses. He says that he only gets to see his daughter 3 times a week and he is not willing to give up his days for some party. I told him he could take my days for a week and let her be at the wedding. He says he will not let Gabby go. The wedding is on a Tuesday, which means Gabby would be with him. I cannot change the date because everything is booked. Please give me some advice. We have argued a lot and I don't think I can go through any emotional pain with this ever again. Gabby would be heartbroken because she is really excited to be flower girl. Update 1. It's been hectic since the last I posted. So I mentioned in my last post that my ex-husband with whom I share 2 children, Emily and Gabby. Emily lives with me now but occasionally goes to her father's place. I made that post on a Wednesday. I went to Friday to pick up Gabby. My daughter, Emily, was pissed. I asked her what happened. She says that Gabby was throwing a tantrum because of some stupid lie their father has told Gabby that they will be going on a vacation on my wedding day. Gabby said no. She was excited to be my flower girl and threw a tantrum. I was furious. This coward man wanted to take my daughter away from me so that she is never my flower girl. I stomped my way into his house and demanded to see my daughter. My fiancé was with me. I demanded to see my daughter and said that he was a coward for not telling my daughter the real reason why she can't be at my wedding. My daughter rushed towards my fiancé, Ben. I told him to tell Gabby the truth. I was done with this man. I told him if he doesn't tell her I will. I had the screenshots on my phone. I am surprised that he caved. Eventually he told her the truth. Gabby was crying and saying that she hates him. My ex-husband was not having it. She took Gabby away from Ben and violently shakes her body and calls her a brat who doesn't appreciate her dad. I don't know what came on to me. I saw red and pushed my husband out of the way. He called me a b-tch and his wife came out and tried to handle him. I got my daughter Gabby but my husband wasn't letting me. He even got into a physical altercation with my fiancée. Emily was recording it from a distance. My ex kept shouting that he will not let my daughter go with him. I reminded him that this is my turn to have her. And he agreed that he would let my daughter stay with me until the wedding is over. I have the messages with me that he agreed to our agreement. He couldn't do anything and we left. Upon arriving, Emily told me if it is possible to keep Gabby with us forever because she does not want to live with her dad. I asked why. Then she told me that her dad has been really angry ever since I started a relationship. It wasn't that extreme at first. Then he started insulting me behind my back that how much I downgraded by dating Ben. It got even more agitated when he learned I was pregnant. He has been asking his wife to start having kids and they had fights multiple times. It doesn't end there. Emily also mentions he would often lash out on Gabby and even scold her for making small mistakes. He even forced both of them to call his wife mom. But Emily refused. She also said the only reason she ever goes back is she knows Gabby has to stay with him and she is just protecting her. I cried and asked her why she didn't tell me. She responded that she saw how happy I was with Ben so she didn't want it to burden me. I don't know what to say. I never wanted my daughter to take the burden. While I am happy that she tried to protect her sister, but I feel disappointed in myself that I was so busy with my new life that I neglected my daughter. Whenever they came home they were smiling and I took that as a sign that everything was okay. I told Emily while I'm proud of her but she should have told me. She should have never taken it upon herself to save Gabby. I am their mother and I will protect them from everything. I was going to let my daughter stay with my ex when I was in my honeymoon so that he would not cry about not spending enough time with his daughters. Now I am thinking otherwise. I don't know what to do. I am really stressed and next week is my wedding. Any suggestions? Update 2. Hello guys, I took your suggestions and filed for emergency custody. I have also contacted a lawyer so that I can get full custody of Gabby. My daughter, Emily, is a key witness and she does have the video saved. She is a smart girl. I am glad she saw the tension in the air and recorded it. I gave this to my lawyer. He did say I shouldn't have jumped on my ex but it can be played as self-defense because he was hurting and scaring Gabby. I was able to get emergency custody. I was lucky that I got it in a short time. I will talk to my lawyer about full custody and details. He said that given how he acted and the video evidence along with the statement from Emily, I do have a strong case. But I know my ex. He will not give it up so easily. But neither am I. I am postponing my honeymoon until this matter is resolved. Even though this whole week has been stressful for me and everyone, I managed to cheer up Gabby. My family was really supportive. We did have a wedding. But I felt like some of the joy was stripped away from us because of this whole drama with my ex. But nonetheless I felt really special on that day. My first marriage was rushed because I got pregnant. But this one felt right. I got to wear a gown and walk down the aisle. My daughters also enjoyed it a lot. I was glad my now husband, Ben, was there with me. I always had this insecurity in me that no man would want to be with me because I have so much baggage, but he stuck with me in my worst. As for my ex, he has lost cause. He has been sending me and my husband some hateful messages. He has been badmouthing me. We blocked him. 2 days before my wedding my ex-in-laws had a chat with me. My ex-mill wanted me to drop the case and not take their grandkids away from their father. But I am glad ex-Phil stuck with me. He said that his own son is a danger to himself and his kids. He should not be allowed kids at all. My ex-mill tried to argue but ex-Phil shouted at her, "Do you care more about your pathetic son or the safety of your grandkids? At least someone gets it." And then there is my ex's wife who has moved out of his house because she said, and I quote, "I am too good to be a stepmom of some ungrateful brats." I mean, she is still in her 20s, so I get her in some way. Also, some of you have asked why I booked a day that clashes with my custody date. Well, the venue we wanted was available on that day only. We already postponed our wedding once due to my pregnancy, so we took it. Also, I didn't think my ex would go bonkers over it. Because when he got married to his mistress, he took our girls out of the state for 2 weeks because he wanted a destination wedding. And I checked with him numerous times before making the decision. He was fine with it until 2 weeks before the wedding. I have no idea why he was acting like it. And I know people have called me a bad mother for not noticing it earlier. I have no excuse for that. I know I have been consumed so much in my own world that I didn't thoroughly check with my girls. My kids shouldn't feel like them sharing their problems will hamper my life because their problem is my problem. I said sorry to both Emily and Gabby for it. They were kind enough to forgive me. But I will always have this guilt that I didn't see it first.